Good to see you back, guys. Once again, I'm back with a new tutorial related JavaScript. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn forEach loop. In our previous tutorial, we already learned we have total 5 loops in JavaScript. While loop, do while loop, for loop, forEach loop, and foreign loop. And I already covered while loop, do while loop, and for loop in our previous tutorials. And in this tutorial, we are going to cover forEach loop. As I told you earlier, forEach loop work with arrays. And foreign loop work with objects. So as you can see, we have an array, and inside this array, we have total 3 values, Aman, Adwan, and Rahul. And now I want to print all the values one by one. Also, you can perform other function with that. For that, our array provide inbuilt method which is forEach. This method runs for every value from this array. And if you want to print something, otherwise if you want to do anything, in that case, you can pass a function inside this for loop. Here you can create your own function, otherwise you can use inbuilt functions. And then you can print any statement, whatever you want. Now you might think, we can do the same thing using for loop. Yes, we can, but it's a bit a lengthy process. For that, we need to initialize a variable, then we need to get the array length, next we need to set the condition to run the loop. We need to do a lot of stuff for loop. But here, you don't need to take any variable. And you can normally print any statement using for loop. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical and see how it's works. As you can see, side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using Live Server extension. And I already created an HTML document named index.html. And inside the script tag, we have an array. And inside this array, we have total 4 values, Adwan, Rahul, Arnab, and Ravi. So now I want to print all these values using forEach loop. For that, here, I'm going to type x.forEach. For each. Then, inside the round braces, we need to create a function. So here, I'm going to type function keyword. Function, round braces, and curly braces. And inside the curly braces, we can type our statement. So, for every value, it's going to run our forEach loop. And we need to store the value in a variable. So, inside the round braces, I'm going to take a variable, value. And now, I'm going to print the value inside the curly braces. So, here I'm going to type document dot write inside the round braces value. Then, semicolon to end this line. Also, I'm going to add a br tag with that. So, here I'm going to type inside the double quotes br. So let's set the file and see what we get. If I set this file, you can see the result. One by one, it prints all the names, Adwan, Rahul, Arnab, and Ravi. Also, we can print their index with that. So here I'm going to take another variable. And I'm going to take variable name index. And after break tag, I'm going to use concatenation sign. Then, inside the double quotes, I'm going to use colon. And after colon, again I'm going to use the concatenation sign. And here, I'm going to pass our index. If I set this file, you can see the result. Oops, I did a silly mistake. We need to use the br tag after index. So I'm going to cut this portion. And after index, I'm going to paste it. If I set this file, you can see the result. Adwan index is 0, Rahul index is 1, Arnab index is 2, and Ravi index is 3. So without taking any extra variable and without get array length, we can print their value and their index number. And one most important thing, as you can see, we create the function inside the forEach loop. But we can create the same function outside the forEach loop. Let me show you. So I'm going to cut this portion, and outside the forEach loop, I'm going to paste it. And here I'm going to take a name for this function, and our function name is loop. And I'm going to call this loop function inside this forEach loop. So here I'm going to type loop. If I set this file, you can see the result. So as you can see, it's worked perfectly. So one by one, we cover all the array methods. So this is it for this tutorial. Stay tuned for our upcoming tutorials. Thanks for watching this video.